But they then put out Doom and Cosmic Ghost Rider and things like that. But Namor was a problem, right? Welcome back to the channel. So many people have asked me about my feelings on Hood. I know I put some things on the community channel and on YouTube. I tweeted a few things, and it definitely was a source of discussion in line chat. Sorry guys who saw that spam. And then of course the Discord server, but I could tell a lot of people didn't understand it. And that's okay, that's okay. It's really difficult, I think, to fully express some of your thoughts and or understand someone else's thoughts over those things that are really just a bunch of text ran together. So I'm getting this out. I know a lot of the people aren't gonna watch this, and that's totally cool. I just want people who've seen my videos or seen me put that out, know what I think and how I'm feeling and how that's going to affect my the way I play the game, because it definitely will. I've realized or learned a lot. Apparently there's a lot of people who were very upset that his buff happened the way it did, and I kind of did know that. And then there was a lot of people who were upset that it got reverted once, everyone kind of had that discussion and tried to understand each other. But one thing I think is really clear is I don't feel, and I'm not trying to tell you how you should feel, I'm going to explain how I feel, right, or what I think. I don't think those people should be upset with each other. I don't think that I don't think they're really coming from different places. I don't think anything they can really blame each other for. And I'll explain that. Ultimately for me, this comes down to the reliability of Kabam. And for me, kind of like not the final straw, because I love this game. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying up late at night so I can make these videos and get them out. I'm having that much fun with my alliance playing the game and doing YouTube. This is incredible. So I'm not going anywhere, right? This isn't an anti-Kabam thing. This is me saying this is finally where I'm like, I'm gonna grow up. I'm gonna be the adult here and be like, this is just what Kabam's going to do. We'll look through this letter, this post that they made, and it is comforting, right? Most of my initial irritation came from the message we were sent in game, where they started it off by saying, like, we thought Hood would be more popular. And I was like, popular? Was he homecoming queen? I don't recall voting for this. Well, what does popular have to do with anything? When did that become a thing? But then I read through that, I went to the forums and I read that, I'm like, okay, this is much better. I do feel like they're trying to say they've learned something, so it was comforting. It was comforting to me. So let's kind of go through this and I'll explain why I'm not necessarily blaming Kabam. What I'm doing is I'm going to just face who I think they've been telling us all along. There are people who make an insanely fun game. There are people who make an insanely fun game that requires interaction and is often more fun played with friends. And I enjoy that. They're gonna put out 2 champions a month, whether they can adequately test them and their buff champions or not. They're just going to do that. Keep that in mind. This thing with Hood where they talk about the buffs, or the bugs, that's not new. Think about how long it took for the White Magneto pre-fight to work. Think about how many times you've triggered or you've seen someone trigger the Human Torch pre-fight ability to go into a war fight and it doesn't work. I apologize for that, but it doesn't mean anything because they're not going to change. They're still going to put out these champions, and coincidentally, like, not for nothing, but Civil Warrior crystals are on sale right now. Falcon ones have been on sale. The only one that hasn't, I think, is Mole Man, and I know that because I really want Mole Man. So like, they can say sorry, but if they keep doing it, I think it's incumbent upon me, the consumer and the player of the game, to be like, sure, you're sorry, that's great. All right, you've really learned from it. You're not gonna do it anymore? No, you still will. You'll just apologize for it when we get really mad about it. So that's how I feel, okay? And that's what I think. And so I think if there's anyone to be upset about, it's Kabam. But also this, they make an amazing game. They made a mistake that they probably will make some version of again, and they definitely have before in the past. And it's not the exact same one, of course, if you want to be that way. No, they've never buffed Hood by changing a core mechanic on his ability to then just days later take it back. That's never happened before. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they've done other things. Like, do you recall when they had to nerf Namor? Because they told us the information they had and the statistics they had and the advanced data and the way they interpret it was that he was so good he needed to be nerfed. Who was using Namor to destroy the game? I don't and this company then put out Doom. Don't touch Doom, Kabam. But they then put out Doom and Cosmic Ghost Rider and things like that. But Namor was a problem, right? And so we were supposed to trust in that research that they had done and those numbers that they had, and they used that same line of reasoning for why Invisible Woman did not need a buff. She didn't need it. They were gonna up her damage and things through synergies, which they most definitely have. But it makes no sense when you look at it together, right? I believe that they said, they had certain intentions for these champions and they wanted them to fit within that. And that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. But if they had these advanced metrics and they had these numbers and they were able to interpret them properly, and they were interested in how we would react to it and how we relied on it, to me, they would have already known that Hood was being used by this group in the community who's important. Their thoughts and feelings and values are just as important as anyone else's. They would have known that that group was using him for his fate seal. I would think that how are people using these champions would be just as important as how many people are using them, right? Because if a bunch of people are using them and they're just dying all the time, that doesn't mean that they're great champions because people are using them. That's me. So to me, they should have already known. They should have already known that people were doing this with Hood. Additionally, you're talking about the bugs and things like that. They have a whole CCP who, when a brand new champion's coming out, clearly gets at least a limited amount of time to play with that champion and make videos on it. And it's really cool. I enjoy that. I'm in alliance with a lot of them. I really enjoy what they do. It's very cool. They have a whole CCP who could have played with Hood and told them, hey, dude, he ain't working the way he's supposed to. Like, it's really obvious. I remember even testing it, and I was like, I don't think Hood's supposed to be healing this well. This seems a little crazy. They also could have just talked to the people in the CCP and said, hey, we're taking away Hood's fate seal. And yeah, we think it's good. And it seems as though they didn't do that, right? We'll never know exactly, because people have confidential agreements and things like that. We'll never know. And so to me, it's just, people make mistakes. I am all for second chances, third chances, and fourth chances, and as many chances, right? But at each point, each time that they say they're sorry and they come back, I think it's important to be more accepting that at a minimum, this person or this company has difficulty understanding when they've gone too far or when they've done too much. So as a result, and I was already kind of going this way anyway with my not chasing AQ1 and things like that, and enjoying the channel and things. I'm just not going to be opening cap crystals nearly to the same rate. That's already been happening. If you've been watching my channel, you know that. For a variety of reasons. One is at some point you just can't use all the champions, and additionally, I just don't have comfort that things like this aren't going to continue to happen. I'm not saying that they're gonna buff a champion and take away core utility or ability, or that the Hood buff will be bad. In fact, if anything, I think the Hood buff's probably gonna be really good. Once we got to that point, I'm glad they reverted. Because there was a group of people who were very passionate, and they were right. That it was not a true buff. It was a different champion. So they lost that champion that they had ranked up and put in those resources in. But instead of deciding those people are wrong or being upset with them or they're right and defending them, I'm going to learn from this. And realize I'm just going to play this game. I'm going to open the crystals that I receive. Sure, there are going to be times where I open cap crystals because it is fun. Or there might be someone I really want. I'm going to have a good time with that. I enjoy that. But I'm not going to go overboard trying to get a specific champion, because it has been proven, to me anyway, that the BAM can and will change anything in this game anytime they darn well please. I want to be really clear on that. Don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. I was very upset about 12.0. I'm sure many of you watching this were very upset about 12.0, but here we are. We are still playing this game. And to me, that means that the people who run Kabam, who make these decisions, while we don't like them, especially often when they initially happen, the Kabam has the best interest in the game at heart. They are more motivated than we are that this game continues to be successful and enjoyable. So I do trust them to make the decision that they think is best for this game, for its longevity and for player enjoyment. I do trust them to do that because they have a vested interest in that. They are a for-profit company that wants to make money, and there's no reason they shouldn't. But I'm not going to trust them to not change champions around. It is very obvious that that will happen. It has been proven time and time again, and it is very clear to me that they will use different logic to justify decisions that really don't make a lot of sense when put together. At least they don't make sense to me. Hope that clears it up. I hope it's very clear. And if you're still watching, there's just two things. Most important reason why I made this video is, one, I felt horribly that I liked Hood's buff. I said that in the video. I took that video down because I didn't want anyone to be confused. I took the video down. Stayed up late making that video. It wasn't the best video, but I wanted to get it out. I was upset that he was changed in the way he was, and I was upset that I liked him so much because I work with some of these people who were affected by it, and I liked them and I empathized with them and I felt badly for them. So here I am enjoying something that's actively hurting people I know or like in the community. And then I was upset that they reverted him back, and the reason was, I assumed, I even said in that video, well, Kabam knows what they're doing. They have the best interest in the game at heart. I'm sure they've checked numbers. Sure, they checked with the CCP. It would make no sense for them not to have done these things. And yet here we find out they didn't do any of that. They didn't do any of that. And so if I accept that we got to that point, I'm very glad that they reverted the Hood back, and that when they do finally buff him, he'll still have the Fate Seal. But I think we should have never had to have gotten to that point. So that's it. That's it. I hope that makes more sense. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask, and maybe we can still try to figure each other out. And at the end of the day, is it really that important? No, but it is interesting, and it's fun, and it's good communication. And if nothing else, if we look for common ground and we look for mutual understanding, we're probably likely to get there, and we're probably to have a lot more fun than if we try to just prove ourselves correct. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to a much better buffed Hood, hopefully in just a few months. And I wanted to give you some insights into why I feel that way, and why you'll notice me still opening some crystals, just not the way it was in the very beginning of this channel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great weekend. Take care. I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on Twitter at Vega Gaming 583. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.